Cam, we're getting old, man.
Yes, we are.
We are getting old. So, podcast listeners, one, welcome back. It is episode 21. The boys are back and the boys are live again. But right here before the podcast, usually for about 5 minutes, me and Cam have our little pre-hype or pre-pod hype. You know, we get hyped up, talk a little bit of trash to each other, get hyped. But anyway, I was telling Cam, so one, happy first day of classes or second day of classes to all of our listeners out there. But me and Cam now, both being 23 years old, this is our second year being not participating in FDOC. Second time not participating in syllabus week. Cam, I don't know about you, man. I think I might have a little gray hair coming on my beard. My back was hurting when I woke up this morning. What's up, man? What's going on?
Dude, it's getting out of hand. I've got the gray hairs coming in already. I don't know if you know that or not, but yeah, man. Second year in a row without going to class on a Monday. It's a weird feeling when you see the posts and everything because you're like, that was me, not too long ago.
I will say it hit me last year. When I saw it this year, it didn't hit me.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like I don't even really care if I'm in school or not anymore. Like we both have good careers that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
will say
man.
I like the money now, but and I'm talking about the money from the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Cam are on the way up.
Yeah, man. But for anybody who doesn't know, we're recording this on August the 22nd, 2023, officially 4 days away from college football kickoff award. I want to remind everybody that they can find us on Spotify and YouTube at the Fat Katz podcast. That's KATZ. Find us on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. Like I said, man, college football's crept up on us here. Week 0 starts on Saturday. But before we get into it, Ward, let me know about your week so far. Any crazy stuff go on this weekend? Anything happened yesterday?
No, it's been pretty outside of the streak that was broken yesterday, which we'll get into later. But outside of a streak being broken and a very excited fan base, not too much, Cam. Not too much. It's been I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be recording episode 21.
That's what we like to hear, man. We missed the UFC preview last
We
week,
did.
unfortunately. But
We'll dive into that today.
Yeah, we've got the recap. I'll post the graphic later today so you guys know where we're at. But as many of you know, Ward took the dub last week on the UFC 292 pay-per-view picks. But as we get into it, man, I want to start with first favorite and forgotten, as we always do with it being episode 21. Ward, I want you to let me know your first here, and I think everybody has a pretty good idea. But let's go ahead and kick us off here.
I'd say for the first and most of the people's first, I'll go ahead and lower the camera a little bit so everybody can see. This wasn't the logo he played for, but it's Mr. Sean Taylor, the hardest hitting safety in the league and one of the hardest hitting safeties in history. Redskins legend. RIP to Sean, University of Miami legend, the U. He's the definition of you think of somebody that came from the U. I mean, Sean Taylor is a little definition of it. So, and he wore two numbers. He had 36 and 21, but I'm celebrating the number 21. So that's the first I thought of. Cam, passing it off to you.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll probably make a second appearance when episode 36 runs around. But yeah, man, you think of Miami football, you think of Sean Taylor and those, for me at least, those early 2000s teams where guys like him and Clinton Portis had to wait till like their junior year to get on the field because they had so much talent. My first is Kevin Garnett. People, he won an MVP in Minnesota with the T-Wolves, obviously wore 5 for the Celts. But Kevin Garnett was the first guy that came to my mind when I thought of number 21.
I thought that was a good one. I thought of him too. And another one you have, I'm not going to spoil it. I think 21's a pretty specific number in sports, and a ton of people have worn this number. We had a lot of the same people. My next, this is a little bit different. I'm sure a lot of people didn't think of this. This individual does not even wear this number now, Cam, but I'm thinking of Nyheim Hines, Indianapolis Colts, Nyheim Hines. He was a legend at NC State University. He's a Raleigh product. Went to Garner 20 minutes down the road. So he's unfortunately not going to be able to play this year because he got hurt. But he's my favorite 21 just because he's an NC State guy. Got to shout him out.
Yeah, I understand that completely. Usually this would be my slot to throw in a Kentucky guy. Not today. My favorite running back growing up, Ladinian Tomlinson, is my favorite number 21.
Yep.
The dude was electric. the best or second best, depending where you have Adrian Peterson, running back of the 2000s, 2010s. So I'm going to go with Ladinian Tomlinson here, man.
Chargers legend. Chargers legend. Am I forgotten this week? It's going to be an interesting one. This individual has actually just signed. What did they pay him? $4 million for a 1-year contract. Mr. Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State legend. He was good for 2 years for the Cowboys. He got paid on the Cowboys, but Mr. 21, I don't know what he's wearing, what he's gonna be wearing for the Patriots.
I think he's wearing 15. I think he's going back to the Ohio State days.
Okay. Well, he wore 21 for the Cowboys. He may weigh 270 now, but I feel like people are gonna forget about him when he played for Dallas. Well, not forget about him, but I'll forget about him. Bye, Zeke.
My forgotten here, I'm gonna go Tiki Barber, another guy in the late 90s, early 2000s that unfortunately kind of gets overthought or overlooked, being in such a running back rich time of the NFL. But man, the Barber brothers were incredible. I remember I had their book growing up. I used to read it all the time. But yeah, man, Tiki Barber, part of those New York Giants Super Bowl teams. Great running back in his day. He's going to be my forgotten. One guy we did leave off that we want to give a shout out to is Deion Sanders, prime time.
We did throw out prime.
We didn't really get to watch him again as part of kind of our criteria, but prime is too good not to give a shout out at least.
The old heads might get a little pissed off about that.
Well, we gave him a shout out, so they can't get mad now. But unfortunately, Ward, only one Fans Fat take, and everybody knows who it is. It's Justin Alford. On the YouTube, he left love it, fellas. Favorite 20 has got to be Dawkins, the only Clemson Tiger in the Hall of Fame. Weapon X was a problem. I agree, man. Dawkins was awesome. Hope and think Clemson at least gets to the push at 10 wins. I think we could drop to Notre Dame or FSU. Would prefer to split or win both. Wouldn't we all prefer to win every game every year? Haven't looked at Kentucky's schedule, but 6.5 sounds low. To me, the only thing that's on is if Devin Leary stays healthy or not. We'll touch on that later a little bit, but 6.5 is the Devin Leary's gotten hurt 2 of his last 4 seasons kind of line to me. Georgia goes undefeated unless something goes terribly wrong. We've got some Georgia news coming down the pipe. I don't know anything about Penn State, but tough to have to play Michigan and Ohio State. Obviously, every year they're going up against those 2 giants, and don't think they will lose to anyone other than those 2 teams, though. I like James Franklin a lot. Can't wait to get college football rolling soon. Just you don't have to wait too much longer. Only 4 more days.
I think all the boys are ready. And 2 things to add to that. One, I was talking to a dude at my gym. He had a Penn State shirt on. I was talking about if he thinks they're going to be good this year. I didn't know this, but apparently Penn State plays at Ohio State and at Michigan. So those are 2 pretty hard stadiums to go in and win a game on the road in against 2 pretty good teams. But yeah, I think I'm excited for Penn State too. We'll see it. And speaking of Justin too, I got him his T-shirt yesterday finally, and he sent me a video of his T-shirt on his dog. They have a German Shepherd on his dog, and it was what song was it? Bad Boys for Life. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I put a T-shirt on my dog. She just acts frozen when I put it on her. She won't move. But yeah, Justin, love the comment, brother. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, man. I think we got T-shirts out to everybody. Judy Porter, still waiting on hers. We've got it here. And then Evan Marion, when he comes to Charlotte, we'll be dropping that off to him. So 2 more orders to go, and then we'll have them all sent out. I hope everybody liked their T-shirts.
I haven't heard any bad reviews. I've heard nothing but good reviews. Well, and speaking of T-shirt, the boys are going to have them on live next week. Episode 22 is going to be a special one. Warden Cam, the co-host. Not sure what we're doing yet. Not sure where we're recording, but we will be in the 704, and hopefully we're not having Wi-Fi issues again. And hopefully the pod doesn't kick us out mid-pod. But we're going to be back. We're going to be live. We're going to be electric. The energy's going to be there. We just need you guys to be there, and we need the support to be there. So let's get it.
Exactly. Hey, if there's anybody that's going to step up, it's going to be the Fat Katz crowd, man.
Yeah, you're damn right.
I do want to talk, man. We touched on it earlier. We missed it last week, but UFC 292 happened this week. I went up to Wheezy's to watch it with him and all the family up there in Statesville. And all in all, a pretty boring card, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it was a boring
card. But we did see Suga Sean O'Malley get the knockout victory over Sterling. It was an awesome setup to that fight. Great press conferences both ways. And then just the clash of styles, man. A wrestler going against a striker, and the the striker prevails for what seems to be becoming a trend in the UFC.
Mhm.
Or have any big takeaways from this fight?
Up. Sean O'Malley made me lose a lot of money. So thanks, Aljamain Sterling. You screwed me over. My bookie's happy. Not gonna say who it is on air, but lost some money on that one. Just say that. I threw a little bit of money on Aljo. I thought Aljo, I actually bet the odds and everything. I didn't have Aljo just winning. I had Aljo winning by decision. I thought it was gonna be very similar. I thought it was gonna be a lot of wrestling. There was no wrestling at all. And but good for Sean O'Malley, man. Sean O'Malley, I like this guy. I've been watching him since The Ultimate Fighter. And he's going to bring a lot of money to the UFC. He has a huge following. He's on one of our rival podcasts, Nelk, doing interviews. Sean, if you ever want a spot on the Fat Katz Zoom, we are more than welcome to have you, buddy.
We'll fly to you. We will fly.
We'll fly to you, and we'll pay for it. You don't even have to pay to get us out there. But yeah, man, I was really happy for him. He's going to make a ton of money for the UFC. I hope he stays healthy. I hope he can stay champion for a long time. Really excited to see him and Cheeto fight.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question, man. That leaves a lot of doors open in that division. A lot of guys, want that title shot, and there's a lot of guys that deserve it. I do think Cheeto ends up getting it probably just so
there's a little bit of history behind them. So
yeah, we get that rematch. I loved it. He asked Joe Rogan if Cheeto won the fight earlier that night, and he goes, "Was it boring?" Probably. And he was correct.
One matchup that I think, somebody I think that matches up very well against Sean O'Malley is Corey Sandhagen. They have very similar styles, So I think that would be one coming down the line. That would be pretty interesting, but we'll see. He has to beat Cheeto first.
I'll tell you who I don't want to see him fight, and that's Triple C.
Me neither. God, I don't want to see him fight Triple C either.
First of all, I don't want to hear Triple C talk into a microphone, but second, I don't want to watch him fight either. But legend of the game, don't get me wrong, but there's a time and a place to kind of call it quits, and I think we've gone over that road for Triple C. The co-main event sees Wei Lee win a decision over Lemos.
How boring was that?
I mean,
good God.
You want to say congrats to the champion, but
congrats, Wei Lee. I mean, I think you were like a minus 600 favorite. I think everybody saw it coming, but God, that was a boring fight.
Almost fell asleep during this fight, Ward. It was pretty brutal. We saw Ian Gary, though, win a decision over Neil Magny.
He looked good.
So a little backstory here. I was planning on betting on Neil Magny for our picks and also just to throw money on him. And I see that Ian Gary's a minus 500 favorite, Ward. And I'm like, Neil Magny's ranked over him. I don't get it. You saw that first leg kick, and you figured out the reason he was a minus 500 favorite. There must have been something leak out of the camp or something, but that leg didn't have a chance of Neil Magny. A little disappointed I am that Ian Gary didn't finish that fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Cam, I'm not gonna lie, man. Listeners, I'm so sorry. You guys might get mad at me, but I was not a true UFC fan. I did not watch the first 3 fights, so I didn't buy this I didn't buy this pay-per-view like I usually do with all my boys. It was one of my buddy's birthdays, so we went to downtown Raleigh, and the bar that we went to had the fights. Anyway, I think everybody else had the same idea as us. We had to wait in line with about 400 people. Anyway, long story short, we're trying to watch the fights from line, can't see them. I have the idea. I said, boys, let's just go swap the bouncer $20, $30. He'll let us skip the line. There was 12 of us. One of my buddies I was with had a $100 bill, and everybody said, we'll Venmo him $10, whatever. Slips up, bouncer 100. He looks at us. He's like, all right, let's go. We skip the whole line. We get in right for the Wei Lee fight. I'm like, let's go. The boys made it. Funny story, though. But, yeah, that didn't watch the first 3 fights. But, Cam, you were texting me and giving me updates. Yeah.
I want everybody to know, though, that's what's called having pull in the Raleigh area. When you're a big wig like Ward is, man, you can go wherever you want. I
didn't even pay the bouncer. It was one of my buddies. I'm not the big wig. I just know a few big wigs.
We did see Mario Batista win a decision over Damon Blackshear. Another nothing burger, if you ask me.
I had no idea who these guys are, and I cannot believe that these guys got in the main card over Chris Weidman. But
our boy Cheeto Vera, as we touched on earlier, wins a decision over Pedro Munoz. Dude, I will say one thing from this card. DC and Joe Rogan, as much as I love them, man, they show some bias towards some guys that they like or they're friends with. Cheeto dominated that fight, and you go into the decision, they're surprised that Pedro lost that fight. There was no world where Cheeto didn't win.
Was it 3-0 or 2-1?
It was a It was 30
Was
to
this?
27. Yeah.
Oh,
All
it
chart.
was
Yeah.
3-0. No
And
shit.
they were like talking up Pedro the whole fight, and I was just like, man, I don't see it. Like Cheeto had landed more significant strikes, he'd thrown more, he won the exchanges, and they're going into the decision thinking that Pedro's winning. I was like, we must have watched two completely
Two
different.
different fights. Yeah, they do that a lot of, especially DC. DC's really bad about it, but.
We, as you touched on, we did see your boy take an L, probably for the last time that we'll see Chris Weidman fight.
Chris Weidman looked awful. It's time for you to Chris Weidman. You're a legend in the sport. Time to hang it up, though, man. You're killing your legacy at this point.
Brad Tavares gets that win. Brad Tavares is a tough guy, but man, Weidman looked bad. And
Weidman's leg, he got leg kicked once, and he was limping the whole fight.
And obviously coming off that injury that he had sustained, he broke his tibia in half, towards ACL this fight. It's just time to call it quits, man.
Go box Jake Paul and make $10 million.
Yeah, but as we move on, we got some NFL news, man. The Colts officially give Jonathon Taylor permission to seek a trade. One more, do you think the trade happens? How much would you give up for Jonathon Taylor? And if he stays in a Colts uniform, does he play this year?
Yeah. So the thing is well, Cam, I'll ask you. I know, or non-biased. I know you're not a big running back guy. Say you're I don't know, Houston Texans organization. You need a running back. Are you giving up a first-round pick for Jonathon Taylor?
No chance.
Because that's the only thing the Colts are going to take. The Colts have already said they need a first-round pick or a player that adds up to a first-round pick. So, how many times have we heard this? Buda Baker was given permission to seek a trade. You think about it, there's been like 10 of them this offseason. I can't think of all the names off the top of my head, but how many guys have been eligible to seek a trade and none of them have gotten traded? They all just go back to their team. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to happen, but what do you think of it?
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't see a trade happening. If the Colts want to pull the trigger, I could see them getting a second or third round pick. Second at the top. I mean, nobody is giving up a first round pick.
And you have to end. So the thing is, in the trade, you have to give up a first round pick or something that adds up to a first round pick, and you got to give him a new contract. That's the whole reason why he wants to get traded. He wants to get paid.
You've got to do something similar to what the Eagles did with AJ Brown.
Yep.
Who was a X receiver with a running back, and I just don't see a team that's going to do that. And I don't even know if he plays for the Colts this year, Ward, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and if he doesn't if he's really fighting that hard to get paid and he doesn't play this year, it's going to be just like Steelers boy a couple of years ago. Le'Veon Bell. It's going to be similar situation just to that. So,
we do have quarterback news out of Tampa Bay. Our boy Baker Mayfield officially wins the starting job today. I saw him in the first preseason game, and he looked good, man. I don't think obviously nobody's here saying he's a franchise quarterback, but I think he's a good bridge quarterback they'll win 2 or 3 games. They'll get the number 1 pick. They'll get the number 2 pick. They'll get a great quarterback. And
who's drafting Caleb Williams this year? That's the question.
Yeah, that's we're entering a sweepstakes for him and Drake May is all we're doing.
Yeah.
So shout out to our boy Baker for, maybe the last time we'll see him as a starting quarterback. Maybe not. We'll see. James Harden, though, still standing 10 toes down. He says he's not playing for the 76ers. And kind of the same thing with Jonathon Taylor here, Ward. Do you think he'll end up being a 76er? Will they trade him? What do you think is going to happen?
I have absolutely no idea. I was listening to this on ESPN radio. I have no idea. You'll probably be able to speak more on it than me, but I saw there was something about he's getting investigated. What did he say? He said something about the Sixers owner or something.
Yeah, so Daryl Morey was the GM in
GM,
Houston.
that's who it was.
Yeah, he was the GM in Houston when Harden was there. He came over to the 76ers, and then James Harden ends up at the 76ers. The insinuation is that James Harden took a pay cut last year on a 1-year deal to help the team with the promise that he would get the Supermax this year from the 76ers. 76ers obviously did not offer him the Supermax, and now James Harden's mad, saying that the 76ers organization operated in bad faith, says he's not going to play for him. There were rumors a couple weeks ago that he would be a Clipper here before long. Those talks have kind of fizzled. Yeah, those talks kind of fizzled out. I don't know who wants James Harden, man. Like, you're getting a mid-30s superstar, old superstar that, is a ball-dominant guy and has proven that, like, he can't really contribute to winning basketball. He's going to kind of disappear in the playoffs. So I don't know who's giving up, a ton of assets to get James Harden on their squad right now.
I don't think you could have said it any better, Cam.
Yeah. And this next topic, kind of includes one of your guys. So I'm going to let you take this over. But we've got some Marlon Humphrey and Terry McLaurin stuff going on.
Yeah. So did you hear about Marlon Humphrey's injury?
I did not. No.
He has to have foot surgery. I don't know how bad it is. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but I believe he had foot surgery yesterday. And anyway, so for anybody that doesn't know, every year the Ravens and the Commanders do have a joint week-long practice. They have 2 joint practices together, and then they play. Every year we play them in preseason. And anyway, this week or last week, it was early last week. It didn't come out until later this week. They had joint practice. They were talking. Terry and Marlon Humphrey got into it a little bit, talking a little bit of trash back and forth. And I don't know if anybody has seen the D'Angelo Hall and DeAndre Hopkins video, but apparently this one has not gotten out yet. But apparently it's something very similar to what happened with Terry and Marlon. Marlon was talking a bunch of trash to Terry. Terry routed him up. Marlon fell, has to get surgery. I don't think he's done for the year. He has to get foot surgery. He's not playing for the next month. But yeah, so heard some of the insiders for the Commanders were tweeting about it and talking about it, and I listened to it and thought it was pretty interesting.
Okay, well, you got to like that if you're Terry.
Terry's good, man. Speaking of Terry, he got hurt last night. He has some all the X-rays came back negative. I think he has some turf toe going on. He ran off the field. He looked fine, but it's a little scary situation. But
we want to talk about it, man. The Commanders, your Commanders, ended the streak last night. For those of you who don't know, the Ravens had a 24-game preseason win streak going into last night. That was ended by the Commanders, and was it a 20-19 victory, Ward?
20-19, or no, it was 20. Yeah, something. I think it was either 23. It was something like that. Yeah, it was a 1-point game. But anyway, the boys look great. Cam, boys look great. I haven't been excited about this team like this in a while. We're clicking on all cylinders on offense. I know it is preseason. Only half of the starters were playing for only half the starters on defense were playing for the Ravens last night. But I haven't seen this offense play like this in a long time. Sam Howell, it's a young quarterback. I cannot think of, as Commanders fans, I cannot think of anybody that's been more excited about a young quarterback that has been as excited about a young quarterback as they are in Sam Howell since the RG3 era. And, RG3 was the second round pick, or the second pick, first round, second pick in the 2012 draft. Since then, young quarterbacks we've had Kirk, we've had Dwayne Haskins was one. I mean, Dwayne Haskins he always had issues ever since Dwayne Haskins was drafted. I know I don't really want to talk about him too much. He tragically passed away about a year ago. So rest in peace, or 2 years ago, rest in peace to him. But, he had always had some issues going on. Think about the past couple of years. Taylor Heineke, which he was always different. Taylor Heineke he was never a number 1 guy, number 2 guy. Definitely not Carson Wentz. Definitely not Ryan Fitzpatrick. But our offense looked great, man. Sam Howell came in last night. Like I said, it is preseason, so it's going to be different. But he went 19 for 25. He played the whole first half. Sam went 19 for 25. He went for 205 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. He was in for 3 drives. We scored all 3 drives he was in. Sam had another one. He had 123.4 passer rating. He has started 3 games now. He started against the Cowboys last year. Then he started 2 preseason games. He has not had a passer rating under 110 yet. I know 2 of those starts have been in preseason, but still, I'm excited, man. We haven't seen quarterback play. If anybody knows Commanders, we have not seen consistent quarterback play like this in a long time, and I hope and pray it continues into the regular season.
Yeah, when you watch him, you see that moxie that Taylor Heineke had. You just see it in a guy that's got better tools. Mm-hmm. He's got a better arm. He's got better accuracy. He's a little bit bigger, not too much bigger, but he's a little bit bigger. I would be excited as well, man. He's looked awesome the past 2 weeks. But the guy,
he probably won't play in the 3rd preseason game. I think he's proven enough. He won out the starting job over an NFL vet over a vet in Jacoby Brissett. But I hope so, man. I hope it all plays out.
The guy I take away that just keeps building up hype though is Jahan Dotson, man.
He's the real deal.
I've been high on him since his Penn State days. I had to kind of talk you up when you guys drafted him a little bit, but
I was really upset when we drafted him because anybody knows, obviously we traded back with the Saints. We were going to take Chris Olave. We traded back, but we also traded for 3 additional draft picks with the Saints. And with those 3 additional draft picks, we took 2 of the guys that we took with those picks. One was Sam Howell, and the other was Brian Robinson, which are starting running back and quarterback now. So,
yeah, I'd say that worked out for you guys. Jahan Dotson, man, I think he's going to be a really good receiver for a long time. So I want to give a shout out to him because he's tough, man.
Yeah.
My Steelers put a shellacking on the Bills. Kenny Pickett, continues to look great in the preseason. Our receivers look good. The Pat Freiermuth was his first touchdown of the preseason. We saw Jaylen Warren pop off a 67-yard touchdown award. I'm getting excited, man. I'm not a big preseason guy, but I'm starting to feel that energy from the Steelers. Some guy I want to highlight, man, is my guy Nick Herbig. He was a guy that I was high on coming out of Wisconsin when we did our draft preview. He was one of my late round kind of guys. In 2 preseasons game, Ward, he's got 4.5 sacks and 2 fumbles, man.
Yeah, dude, we'll need to go back. We need to go back and check on that, who we were high on, who we were low on, and evaluate performances, see how everybody's doing through preseason.
Yeah. But my guy Nick Herbig is becoming a liable rotational pass rusher, and I couldn't be more excited. Keeping it in the AFC North, Jadeveon Clowney signs with the Ravens. To me, this is a nothing burger, man. I haven't seen Jadeveon Clowney play a real good season of football since his sophomore year at South Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't
he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. You got to remember that. I don't know how much of that is a popularity contest versus actual statistics, but he's done some stuff in the league, but not any time recently.
Yeah, man. You couldn't talk to a guy that's lower on Jadeveon Clowney ever since he came out of college. That's been me. I'm on my hating hours, but Jadeveon Clowney, man, he doesn't move me, especially for the Ravens. But yeah, Ward, do you have anything to say about Jadeveon Clowney besides his 2 Pro Bowl selections?
Nope. That's all. It was trending news. Had to throw it in there.
Yeah. Joey Bosa is still holding out in San Francisco, and I will say the Steelers play the 49ers week 1. Joey, this is Nick. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa. My fault. In San Francisco, Nick, get your money, bro. Don't play till they give you money. Don't play week 1. We don't need that. With our rookie left tackle, we don't need to see you lining up over top of them. But Ward, what in all reality, like, what does this mean for the 49ers? It's kind of a slap in the face to a top tier pass rusher to not pay a guy before the season starts.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe they haven't paid him yet because this dude's a real deal. I feel like they've had this the 49ers have had a couple times with not paying guys, but yeah, I don't know why you're not paying him, to be honest with you. I mean he's just going to reset the market. He pay him the most, and then hell, if Chase Young plays good through 3 games, we're going to make him the highest paid player ever. So I don't know what the holdout is. I would personally pay him, but who knows?
I do want to give my boys out in Lexington a shout out. Josh Pate. For anybody who knows, Late Kick with Josh Pate. It's a podcast on the 24/7 Sports Network. He put out a tweet. He said, some of the best intel I'm hearing from any camp is coming out of Kentucky. They're going to be a problem. He later said that he thinks that Devin Leary is the best quarterback in the SEC. I'm hyped for Kentucky football, man. Like you said, kind of with your Commanders, this is the first time I felt like we had like a legitimate chance in a long time. Levis's first year, you're getting an unproven quarterback, and then last year, you've got an offensive line that just can't play football. This feels like the first time since the 10-win season with Benny Snell and all those guys that, like, the preseason hype is there and it will get backed up.
I'm excited for Devin. I hope he plays out.
I know at NC State and up there, we've been getting some good reports from our guy Keon that he's looking good in camp. Ward, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to add to that so far.
No,
Pretty quiet up there. They usually keep
they keep everything in house. I know from what I've heard, everything's looking good, and I was actually up there last week and saw a couple of the guys. But yeah, everything's looking good. The boys are ready. They kick off on Thursday next week. We kick off on Thursday at Marshall. So the boys are pumped, and then we have Notre Dame in Raleig's big house, Carter Finley Stadium, the next week.
So you guys are going to Huntington.
We go to West
Wow.
Virginia. We go to Marshall. They came to us last year. We go to them this year, and it's gonna be exciting. I'm pumped.
I love it. So keeping it with college football being 4 days away, we're going to keep it with college football the rest of the show. First and foremost, Ward, who's winning the Heisman this year, man?
So this is going to be interesting. So I saw a statistic a couple days ago that the last 4 or 5 favorites to win the Heisman did not play out and did not win it. One, Caleb Williams is the biggest winner to win the Heisman. Obviously, I think he won the Heisman last year. So obviously Caleb Williams probably has the best chance. I don't know. I am really, really high on the wide receiver from Ohio State. I'm curious to see how he plays out. Marvin Harrison Jr. Really curious to see how he plays out. Another player that's supposed to be really good and I think has a chance to, I'm not saying win the Heisman, but be in the running is the quarterback from Washington. What is it? Michael Penix
Michael Penix Jr., former Indiana Hoosier.
So he's supposed to be really good. And the reason why I throw his name out there is, you look at the competition he's playing this year. They play who? USC, Utah. Yep. So I think he has a chance to pad stat. So if I had to choose one, obviously I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. He's I don't know what, he has the best odds by far. But if I had to go, my 2 and 3 would be Marvin Harrison and Penix Jr.
Yep. So if you're looking at odds right now, Caleb Williams is plus 500. The guy I think is going to win the Heisman actually is Jaden Daniels from LSU. He's at plus 900 right now. Your guy Penix is at plus 1,200. I'm trying to look. Marvin Harrison is at plus 2,000. So that's some good value if you think the wideout's going to pull it off. I like Drew Allar from Penn State. Drake May is sitting at plus 1,800. That's some good value, I think. Bo Nix feels like his 9th year of college football is there. I do, though. Obviously, I'm going to go Jaden Daniels as my official pick. Sam Hartman at Notre Dame, man, he was terrific for 2 years at Wake Forest. Going to Notre Dame, I think that's a sneaky pick. Only reason I can't really say Caleb Williams is because I think there's only been one guy to win 2 Heisman's, Ward.
Has there been somebody that's won 2?
Yeah,
I thought nobody's ever won 2.
He played at Ohio State in the 40s, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't know anybody's ever won 2. I thought. Oh no, I didn't know anybody's ever won 2 before.
Yeah, Archie Griffin, 2-time.
Archie Griffin, okay.
Yep.
And hey, real quick correction: it's not week 1. It's not Marshall. We go to Marshall in October. It's Connecticut. We go to UConn week 1. Ooh. So I'm talking about NC State. Messed that up, but I had to think about it for a second. But
that's even worse, man.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a brutal road trip.
Yeah, no doubt.
We do have a pretty good slate for week 0. I do want to get some predictions on the books, Ward. We've got Navy versus Notre Dame to kick it off. Notre Dame's a minus 20.5 favorite. This game is kicking off in Dublin, Ireland. Who are you picking to win? Who are you picking to cover?
Well, I'll let you go first, and I'll go after you.
So
I got something interesting to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame winning. I am going to go Navy to cover, though. They're 7-1 in their last 7 or 8 games as an underdog covering the spread.
I love that you said that, Cam, because I literally had the same exact thing. So the reason why I have Navy covering here is because it's week 1. It's the first time playing big competition, and it's not like they're playing at home. It's not like I have Notre Dame winning, and I have Navy covering as well. I didn't put that out there. But, they're going halfway across the world. They're going to Ireland to play. It's first time playing competition. There's obviously going to be some wrinkles. They have a new quarterback. So same thing here. I have Notre Dame winning, Navy covering.
Another note, the over-under is set at 50.5 in that game. I'll be hammering the under, sweating out the under like a sicko. I don't see either one of these offenses going berserk to put up a lot of points. And if Navy covers like I think, then I can't see them scoring that many points for it. No. Our second game of the weekend, we see UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, as 1-point favorites at Jacksonville State. Not to be confused with Jackson State, where Deion Sanders just came from. Ward, I'm rocking with UTEP. I'm taking the favorite here to cover and win. So we're on the same page here. Sorry to all the Jacksonville Sharks out there. We do see our first action We see some Ohio at San Diego State, who is a minus 3.5 favorite. I'm rocking with our MAC boys. I'm going to go Ohio to win and obviously to cover here.
Yeah. I honestly know nothing about either team. I know a little bit about Ohio. Not know too much about San Diego State. I used to use them in NCAA 14. But Cam, I'll go opposite here. I'll take San Diego State winning, and I will have them covering.
Okay, cool. We've got UMass at New Mexico State, excuse me. New Mexico State, -8 favorites in that one. I'm rocking with the favorite to cover. UMass hasn't had a good football program in years.
Yeah. Let's say UMass sucks. And Cam, I can't wait for some big games to be on here, so I feel like I can actually talk confidently. I know nothing about any of these teams, but yeah, I'll take New Mexico State. I'll have them covering as well.
We do see Hawaii at Vandy, with Vandy being a 17.5-point favorite. I do want to say on Vandy, this is the first time in a long time that Vandy has a legitimate football team. I think their win total is set at 3.5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hammer the over. This is my only financial advice that I'm giving out this season. Hammer Vandy 3.5 over on the season win total. I'm also going to go Vandy to win and cover here. Like I said, they've actually got a real football team for the first time in a long time, and the Rainbow Warriors just ain't going to take them out like I think.
Yeah, Cam, I'm going to agree with you here. I actually have Vandy winning and covering as well. And the reason why I say this, if anybody has been watching any recent events, Hawaii is going under a wildfire right now. And because of the air quality, I can't imagine that the University of Hawaii is allowing their athletes to be outside and practice. And I don't know anything about Hawaii. I've never seen any pictures of any indoor stadium they have. So I don't know how much practicing they've actually been doing. They're going to an SEC team. They're going halfway across the world. They're coming from Hawaii all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. So, yeah, I have Vandy here and covering.
Yep. And our last two games here, we see San Jose State at Southern Cal, USC, who is 30.5-point favorites. Going to stay on the same wave here. I'm taking USC to cover and win, Ward.
Yeah, I saw USC just got the number one player. I believe it was the class of 2025 or 2026. And I feel like he's going to be in attendance for this game. Lincoln Riley is going to have his Big 12 route offense dialed up, and I think they're gonna hang him on them.
Yeah, over under for that game 64.5. I think USC might score 65 by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We do see FIU at Louisiana Tech, who are 10.5-point favorites, to round us out here for the weekend. I'm going to go Louisiana Tech to win, FIU to cover the award.
Don't know much about either one of these teams. I know a little bit about LT, Louisiana Tech, so I'll agree with you. I'll have LT winning and FIU covering. I'm sorry to be boring. I wish I could disagree with you. I don't know much about these. I know a little bit about them, but not too much. But
I understand.
Once Power 5 football starts, I'll be able to argue with you a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of Power 5, at Georgia, we do have a starter named, and that will be Carson Beck. It came a little bit of a surprise to me, Ward. I'd heard some good things about Brock Vandergriff.
Yeah.
But Carson Beck is going to be the guy to lead the Bulldogs out to what they're hoping in Athens will be an undefeated national championship, SEC championship season. Ward, what do you think about the Carson Beck era starting in Athens? And what do you think is Vandergriff, do you think they'll rotate, or do you think Carson's got the job?
I don't know, man. I feel like for a quarterback's confidence, you have to go all in or all out of one. And, obviously you name somebody your starter, you have to ride with them. Obviously, Kirby Smart is one of the best coaches in college football, and I feel like he knows a good decision when he makes one. You got to think Georgia has a new OC coming into this year. Their old offensive coordinator is actually the OC at the Ravens now. We played against him last night. But, yeah, I think I don't think there's going to be much rotating to answer your question, Cam. I think they're going to go full in with Carson Beck, and unless he really starts playing bad. But, yeah, Carson Beck era in Georgia, let's see it.
Yeah, man, you see a high 4-star, low 5-star quarterback for the first time since Justin Fields transferred out of Georgia. And we're going to see, man. Kirby was able to do it with the mailman, a walk-on. Let's see if he can do it with a high 4-star, I guess. The players are there. As you said, the OC leaving is, cause to look at the team. But, when you've got that much talent, I think Georgia, just based off of talent, will be able to win 9 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we do want to say, shout out to Carson Beck, man, for winning that job. There's a lot of talented guys in that room. And like you said, Carson Beck era now begins in Athens. We'll see how it goes for him. We touched on it last week, Ward. We're picking our teams today that we're going to be aligning with in terms of MACtion. This is the MAC conference. Ward, I want to have you take your first pick. I think we're going to end up picking different teams just for the sake of having some sports talk or some trash talk throughout the week.
Yeah, and I know we covered on this earlier. You were shitting on my team. I don't know too much about this team. I know Dave Dorn, one of the state's arguably best football coach ever, was a previous coach at this school. I'm taking Northern Illinois. Cam says they're supposed to win 3 games. Don't know too much about this team, but yeah, I know Dave Dorn came from there, and yeah, I'm taking Northern. And Dave Dorn, they won like 10 games when he was there, so I don't know how bad they are now, but I'm taking Northern Illinois.
Okay, Northern Illinois. No changing. You are Northern Illinois.
I'm taking Northern Illinois.
And,
staying true to my roots. That's the only MAC team I've ever followed. So,
is Rocky Lombardi back, Ward, for your Huskies? Rocky Lombardi, the quarterback.
I have no idea. I know nothing about this team. Like I said, I know Dave Dorn went there. They're black and red. They have the similar colors as NC State. So,
yep. I will be choosing the Eastern Michigan E-Tough. I mean, those are my guys. I've cheered for them the past 3 years, probably. So,
who's projected to win that conference?
Toledo.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't bring it in my heart to go with an Ohio team though, Ward.
Mac, I'm gonna look up their projections.
I think Northern Illinois win total is at 4.5 right now, maybe 5.
Oh God, they do really suck, don't they?
I think Eastern Michigan, I think we're sitting at 7.5, and I think Toledo's at 9. But yeah, everybody pick your MAC teams. Let us know who you're going with. We'll share some friendly banter throughout the week. I think Wheezy's rocking with E-Tough with me, but I'm not for sure. I'm going to have to put an order in for the sweatshirt or the T-shirt, whatever. But as we kind of wrap it up here, Ward, we got Pet Peeve of the Week. I'm going to let you take this one off because I see what you got down, and it seems like a spicy take.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get into this. So my Pet Peeve of the Week, and I didn't really explain it too well in here. I went to a Mexican restaurant a couple of days ago, and you had to pay for chips and salsa. What the hell is that? I was trying to be nice. Or not trying to be nice. I just asked Madison if she wanted to go out to eat, and there's this new place in Raleigh called Salt and Lime. Great restaurant, great food. They homemade everything. All their sauces are homemade there. We sit down. I order a beer. She orders a margarita. I'm like, where the hell is our chips and salsa? And I asked a waitress, I'm like, hey, can we get some chips and salsa? And they're like, oh, which salsa would you like? I'm like, I don't know, just regular, I guess. And so they get there's 10 of them on the menu, and they were like $10 a piece. I said, golly, for some salsa? I said, y'all don't have those regular chips and salsa like all the other Mexican restaurants? She said, oh no, we're ours is different. We're Americanized. I don't know. And so anyway, I paid $10 because I would never eat Mexican food without getting chips and salsa. But my pet peeve of the week is Mexican restaurants that do not give complimentary chips and salsa.
Yeah, man, that's a poor practice. That's a way.
Yeah, it was a little bit different, man. I will say it was a different Mexican restaurant though. It wasn't I got a burrito and it was $22. It was one of those. Yeah, I guess it was a high end Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, we don't like those over here. Give me my $10 burrito and free chips.
What's wrong with Taco Tuesday? Dollar tacos. Whatever happened to those days?
But yeah, man, that's got to be frustrating. I couldn't imagine. I'm sure you were a fun person to be around for the rest of the night after hearing that. But my pet peeve of the week is the housing market, Ward, man. As two guys who are in a search to buy our own houses, this is brutal. This is a brutal trek throughout the world. The interest rates are insane. These houses,
7.4% here in Raleigh are the interest rates right now.
And I mean, you get like a 2-bedroom house and it's like $300,000. And then you talk to our grandparents, Ward, who bought their houses for like $20,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm buying a double wide for $350,000. So my pet peeve of the week is the housing market in America right now. Mm-hmm. As a young single male, threw that single in there, ladies. Hit me up. Full plate, empty stomach though, Ward. I'm gonna go Anthony Edwards as my full plate, man.
My full plate. I went into the statistics earlier. I'm taking Mr. Sam Howell.
Yeah, man. If you haven't seen, Team USA is playing basketball right now. I don't know if anybody really knows that, Anthony Edwards has been the star of the team so far. Look for him to take a big jump this NBA season. The kid's a killer. But my empty stomach is anybody who is on a college campus while freshmen are moving in. The most stressful time of the year. Parents, students who are not freshmen, even the freshmen moving in. I pray for every single one of you guys because that's a brutal time to be alive, Ward.
Good luck. Good luck. And then my empty stomach is, I know we've talked, well, actually, we didn't talk about this. We've talked about it in the previous 2 episodes, is the Panthers offensive line. You're leaving your multi-million-dollar first-pick quarterback, Mr. Bryce Young, out to dry. Getting that boy hit hard. You're getting him welcome into the NFL. So they're going to be my empty stomach.
I do want to say, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but I've said it many times to my friend groups. If I'm the Panthers, bro, I'm trotting out Matt Corral to go get killed. I'm not letting Bryce Young get killed behind this terrible offensive line this year. I will say too on that, like our boy Icky, man, he's kind of been disappointing this preseason.
He has not looked, Mr. Icky, NC State legend, Charlotte legend, not looking too hot in the preseason so far. But I know he's been battling some injuries. He has something with his hip flexor or something like that. Been giving him an issue, what I read. But yeah, hope he gets better before week 1.
Yep. And as we get out of here, like Ward said, we're in person next week, so look out for that.
Get the boys out. We're live, back in action.
I want to remind everybody one last time, if you've made it this far, find us on YouTube and Spotify, Fat Katz Podcast. That's KATZ. Find us on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. Keep us in your mind when you're watching college football on Saturday. And as
we will be watching.
Yep. As we get out of here, Ward, do you have a song of the week?
I do. I didn't put it in here, but my song of the week is going to be, me, I'm a big Riley Green fan. He came out with a song this week called Mississippi or Me. Great song. Or it was last week. Check it out. Great song. If you're a fan of country music, he has a little bit of a different genre of country music. He's not this pop music that a lot of the guys are playing now. But yeah, check it out. Mississippi or Me.
Yep. And to round it out, I'm going to go Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon.
Nice. Never heard it. Cool. It sounds like a cool song. But
great song.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's made it this far. If you do, I hope you did. I hope you did make it this far. But me and Cam are actually going to be bringing in a new segment. So we're going to start having game balls of the week. And when I say game balls of the week, football's back, the greatest time in the world. We're 2 huge football guys. And so we got to figure out numbers, how many we're going to do. Maybe 2. Maybe we can do 1 offensive, 1 defensive, or we can do, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, Cam. But anyway, I had this idea, and what this is going to be is, so when I say game ball of the week, so I'm going to be at Cam, my NFL game ball of the week is going to be Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs had 10 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday. And then my game ball of the week in college is going to be, there's going to be NFL game balls and college game balls. So my college football game ball of the week, Devin Leary. Devin Leary threw for 6 touchdowns, 350 yards, and with an 80% passer percentage. I don't know, just an idea. But let us know what you guys think about the game ball of the week. Me and Cam are still ironing everything out. We're open to ideas too. So if we should modify or tweak something, add something in, let the boys know.
Yeah, and we'll give you guys a breakdown next week for the 2 people that made it this far. You'll get a rerun, but for everybody else, you'll hear it for the first time. But yeah, man, that's episode 21 for everybody. And if you made it this far, Ward owes you a beer.
Hey, check the boys out. We'll be live next week. Cam, good to see you as always, brother. Can't wait to see you in Charlotte. And we need to figure out where we're going to record.
Yep. But everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Hey, the boys are out.
Peace.